Hey everyone, welcome to my maybe fourth or fifth live. Um, I'm still getting used to doing lives, so you all are going to have to bear with me. I have notes, so I will be referring to my notes because I want to make sure I get everything out. I don't know how long I'm going to be before you, but hello everyone on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. And typically, and I've said this before, I would be at work. So I'm taking advantage of time off on Saturdays to perhaps do some lives. And I know Thanksgiving hasn't come yet, but I've already started Christmas shopping, not Christmas shopping, Christmas decorating. But let me get into why I'm here. Now, some of you might be like, the elections are over, get over it and move on, but a lot of people are talking about the after election. So I'm going to chime in too. And as I've said on my channel before, I'm not a political channel. I am not going to be able to break down politics and all of that type stuff, but I can definitely direct you to the people that I listen to. So, but let's get into this. The reason why I decided to do an after election live is because of this reaction that I got from one of my coworkers. Excuse me, guys, something on my lip. It's a reaction that I got from one of my coworkers at work. Now, I'm a firm believer that, you shouldn't talk about politics and religion and stuff like that. I can, to people who want to have a mature discussion about it. But not everybody can have a mature discussion, which is why I wanted to come to you live about this. So I was talking to a coworker at work. This was the day after the elections. And he came up to me because I work across from him. And he just automatically assumed that I was a Harris supporter. Now, I could have just let it go and just continued to just talk like, that he didn't just say what he said and just kept it moving. But I thought he was mature enough to understand that people have different value points. We have different reasons for why we vote the way that we do. You would think that I just spit in his mother's eye. I mean, his reaction to me was not good. And, so and I'm going to end up maybe getting ahead of myself. Like I said, I have notes, so you might hear me repeating certain things. So he, like a lot of people who ask, well, what values does Trump have that you agree with? And one thing that I've come to learn, let me say that, and I hope I don't forget. So I told him why I could not vote Democratic. And they all get this glassy eye. They don't care about what your reasons are. They literally don't care. They just care about how are you black and voting against the Democratic Party. You can tell them down the line, and I'm going to get to that later, so I don't want to get ahead of myself. Black people literally don't care about why you voted, why you agree with Trump. They just want to know, why aren't you with us? Even though with us is taking us down the drain. And they'll say the same thing for Trump supporters, where you going down the drain and you're going to regret it, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So then another reason why I decided to talk about this today is because I would say a large portion of my Facebook, on my personal Facebook page, are Harris supporters. So you have people posting Facebook memes, basically calling, you know, black people who supported Trump sellouts and the COONS word and all of that type stuff. And the irony is, I would literally never call somebody out of their name for who they choose to vote for. Now, I might respond, and that's something that a lot of Democrats, they'll call you all kinds of names and stuff, but when you respond in kind, oh, then now it's a problem. So I don't even go back and forth with the Harris supporters. on my page, and they don't go back and forth with me either. I think because we have enough respect for one another to not, because we know each other in real life, and we just have a little bit more respect for each other than to just tear each other apart. I mean, I wouldn't do it anyway. I might, give an opinion on, well, as a Christian, I can't see myself voting for policies that does not align with biblical principles. And then, of course, those same people would say, oh, and Trump aligns with the Bible. No, he doesn't. But he aligns more so than the Democratic Party, that's for sure. And again, not going into the policies, I can direct you to the people that I listen to, because if you're a Republican, conservative, you already know why we voted for Trump. You already know. If you are a Harris Democratic supporter, nothing we can tell you, literally nothing that we can tell you can convince you, just like you can't convince us. And it's too bad that we just can't just live and operate and just work together with what we're given. Because had Harris had won, I would not be coming online calling y'all all kinds of names, but I can't say the same about you all calling us names. I would never do that. Literally would never do that. So, okay, so I already said that. So when I tell the people, I'm going to backtrack just a little bit, why I can't, and this isn't the only reason why I can't vote for the Democrats, but when I tell people, you do realize that the Democrats were the party of the KKK. Y'all know that, right? And you also know that they did not want slavery to end. So you know what my coworker said to me? Well, that was in the past. But the reparations that a lot of you all are asking for slavery, wasn't slavery in the past? So why are you asking for reparations? And I find this funny anyway, because my wonderful, beautiful community, people that look like me, and I've said this on my channel before, we love to live in the past and the present. While other communities are looking towards the future, we keep looking behind us. Unless it's about the Democrats, and we try to tell you, like I just said, they were the party of the Ku Klux Klan. That can be fact checked. They did not want slavery to end. They called Joe Biden Jim Crow Joe for a reason. They try to put the racism on Trump, but they're saying that Biden had a whole eulogy at a former KKK's funeral. Y'all be glossing over that and looking over that. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to talk about some of that. So again, about the reparations. Slavery happened over 200 years ago. And I'm willing to bet that most of the Black people who vote Democrat are seeking reparations. And I've given my reasons online before as to why I don't agree with reparations, not for slavery. Now, I've kind of changed my stance over the years, over the past few months, I'll say, about reparations. I would be in agreement for reparations for maybe as far back as 100 years ago, when like Black Wall Street was destroyed, the Jim Crow era, redlining, overcharging Black people for mortgages and car notes and stuff like that, then yeah, I would agree with something like that. But to go back as far as slavery, what happened to our ancestors was heinous. But again, when I told my coworker about the KKK and slavery, oh, well, that's in the past. Well, then don't be seeking reparations then, because slavery happened in the past too. So, but I'm gonna leave it there. So the Democrats, now I will give them credit for this. They are very good at mind control. They have Black people in an emotional chokehold, and Black people are fiercely loyal to the Democratic Party. And it has more to do with us as a people. See, we are so used to being hated worldwide, so that when we find something that pretends to like us and pretends to be in our corner, we latch onto it fiercely. And that's what the Democratic Party has done. Oh, we're your friends. The Republicans are really the ones who are racist. Even though the Democratic Party, and I'm getting ahead of myself, I hope I don't keep saying that throughout this. The Democratic Party is the party who pushes deletion of babies onto the Black community. My understanding, I don't know in how many years this has happened, 20 million Black babies, little creatures that would look like you and I, have been sucked out of a mother's womb. Democrats push that onto the Black community, and then they say it under the guise of women's health. Women's health is important. Trump is going to take that right away from you to be able to delete your babies. We want you to delete your babies because it's only fair to them. Your men aren't doing anything for you. So do us all a favor and delete those babies. They are the party of death. And they are also the party of, and I want to make sure I get to that, but I'm going to say it now so I don't forget. The party of feminism. And Black women have taken that and ran with it. Never mind the fact that white women, a lot of them are feminists too, but they're feminists who still have a husband and can still rely on the patriarchy. Black women be fighting, they be saying the same thing that the white women say. We don't need men. The patriarchy destroying us, and then they go on to end up being baby mamas, single mothers, fighting and saying how Black men aren't supporting us. And then when you try to tell them, you get support in the nuclear family, you get support in family adhesion, y'all don't want to listen to that. White women be telling y'all about the feminist movement and stuff like that, all while going home to a husband or a partner, if you know what I mean. And so the Democrats also prey on racial identity in Black people. And that's going back to what I just said. We have our whole lives, if you've been in America, we've been told that we are nothing, that we're criminals, that we don't deserve to be here. We've heard all kinds of horrible things directed at us simply for being Black. And the Democrats have done an excellent job convincing Black people that it's really the Republicans, when the Democrats are the ones who, they're the types who would throw the rock, break the window, and then hide their hand. And as I've said on my channel before multiple times, the Democrats and the Republicans are two wings on the same bird. But which one of those wings is going to be better for you and for the community? Now, obviously, the people who voted for Harris and who vote Democrat, they feel like their policies are best for the community. But I can't get behind the promotion of deletion of babies. I can't get behind that. And by the way, the Democrats tried to scare y'all with Trump is going to take away your rights to delete your babies. That's not true. I think Trump is leaving that up to the hands of individual states to govern after that. And I'm pretty sure, and I don't want to slander the man, I'm sure he's probably had some side chicks delete babies. I'm not saying that he has, but let me interject this really fast. Like looking at some of the rabbit mouths Democrats going in on Black Republicans in particular, and I did a video on this, and if I remember, I'll put it in the comments in the description box. So you had this one Black man foaming at the mouth, saying that Black Republicans see Trump as our savior and all of that stuff. And that is a crock of hooey, because we do not see that man as our savior. We voted based on policies, not based on how someone is making us feel. Trump is mean. He be saying mean stuff to people. He trying to take our freedoms away. From what I can see, Trump gives what he gets. And I find it funny with our community, we're real quick on what you not finna say to us. But then people be talking all types of slick mouth and reckless to Donald Trump. And when he gets right back at them, oh, now it's a problem. That's an issue within our community. And if you're a Black woman, you already know. Y'all have some of those slick mouth women out at your job trying to talk mess to you. And then when you stand up for yourself, now it's a problem. One reason why Democrats win with Black women is because they are the party of no accountability. They are the party of do what makes you feel good. It don't matter if it's debaucherous or not. Doesn't matter if there are consequences, because you can blame somebody else for those consequences. That's one reason why they worship at the altar of death of deletion of babies. Be a 304. You don't have to be held accountable for nothing. Just delete that little bugger. That's it. And how dare somebody say something to you about it? Because they judging you. Democrats, okay, so let me go back to the racial identity. Democrats know that we are a very fractured community. The fatherlessness and all of that entails. They don't support the nuclear family. Democrats do not support the nuclear family, particularly the Black nuclear family. They support alternative lifestyles. The Democrats, they support alternative lifestyles that does not support the nuclear family. A Black daddy, a Black mommy raising their children in love and togetherness. That is what would build the Black community. The Democrats support Black women doing it all by themselves, and Black women take it and run with it. We don't need Black men because they worthless anyway. They not doing nothing for us anyway. Look at these Black men, they voted for Trump. They don't even like us. But them white women, not all, of course, they voted for Trump. They put themselves in positions to benefit from the patriarchy. And I've done a video on that. And I forgot something that I was going to say in regards to this, but I'll probably come across it as I'm talking. So the Democrats target Black women because we are easily swayed, which is this is what I wanted to talk about. I heard that 4B movement is trying to take off again. Y'all remember that 4B movement? And I was going to discuss it months ago, but I never got around to it. And I didn't study it too much, so I can only give you like a surface level opinion about it. The 4B movement allegedly started in Korea, where I guess you would call them leftover women who, for whatever their reasons are, no longer want anything to do with men. They're not going to have sex with men. They're not going to have children. They're not going to get married. So somehow it found its way around to the American Black woman. Because I remember reading some of the comments. Yeah, we need to join that movement because this, and this. And I often try to talk to you young ladies because y'all are letting feminism and the sisterhood lead y'all down a manless path. Oh, hi, Jojet. How are you? Thank you for chiming in. They are leading you down a manless path, no husband, raising children by yourselves. And we, as a group of people, we don't always see the okey doke right in our faces. We're falling for the okey doke. That 4B movement that they're trying to push again, them other race of women, you're going to have a few that's going to fall for it because a lot of them are either going to be past the wall. And let me say, one of the things that I've noticed that men have said, they say, pay attention to the women who are, um, pay attention to the women who are Republican and conservative and the ones who are Democrats. Pay attention to how they look. They're basically saying the women who are on the conservative side tend to be a little bit more attractive. And I'm going to say it's probably a spirit. The Democrats, and I'm not talking about all because there are some beautiful Democrats out there. There are some beautiful people who voted for Harris. I know them personally, and I know that they're beautiful people. And I'm not talking physically. I'm talking, how they carry themselves and whatnot. But they are caught up in the allure of belonging to something. The Democrats give Black people the feeling of you belong. We care for you. Even though, as I said prior, they're encouraging you to delete your precious babies. They are uplifting the alternative lifestyles, and you know what I mean. And that is overwhelmingly going to affect the Black community because we are a matriarchal community. And you have a lot of Black women who love them some LGBTQIA men. They love Black men or gay Black men. They love gay Black men. And as I've said before, gay Black men gives Black women the presence of a male without having to be accountable. That's why they love gay Black men. They don't like the Black men who are living in their masculinity who voted for Trump because there is responsibility there. There's accountability there. And they don't want to be held accountable for nothing. But they want to complain when the men that they coddle and browbeat into voting for Harris, you're not a real man because you don't want to support a woman. Y'all want to control the narrative of what a man is and then complain when he is not what a man is. Only a man controls the narrative of what a man is. Only a man can tell you what a man is. I can't tell you what a man is. And man-hating feminists definitely can't tell you what a man is. And that's what the Democrats, that's what they uplift and promote. So, and I think I already said that. A lot of Black women don't want to break free of the being exclusive to the Democrat Party. Because like I said, they get to be boss girls, boss babes, Black girl magic. I got my pearls and my wine and my condo downtown. And a lot of times a man doesn't even play into that, especially a Black man. And as I keep saying, the Democratic Party does not promote Black unity, Black female, Black male unity, and Black women run with that for some odd reason. And a lot of them like to project. I was going to do a video on that alone, where Black women keep on talking about how Black men don't care about them and this, that, and the other. When you actually have Black men saying, we love Black women, we want Black women. But we don't want your mindset. As long as you're wrapped up in that feminist ideology, we can't work with you. That's the bottom line. They can't work with a man-hating mindset. And I didn't mean to switch this over to feminism, but I'm going to bring that up again in a moment. So, and I've already kind of discussed this, that Harris gave a lot of Black women a sense of self. And that has to do with the fact that many of us don't have a sense of self. We get our sense of self from external forces or external, you know what I mean? Which is why Harris was able to bring the most ratchet of ratchets onto the platform with her, Megan Thee Stallion, who, by the way, is a supporter of Planned Parenthood. They brought her. They always want to bring Black women to be the face of Planned Parenthood. Y'all don't find that odd? You don't find it odd? So she brought Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, Beyonce, and I know people love Beyonce. She's a great entertainer. If I had to sit through any of those entertainers, it would be Beyonce. But I'm going to be straight up honest, not a fan of any of theirs. Now, I think Beyonce and her family is adorable, you know, but that's as far as it goes. And but the Democrats, that's one way they went wrong, by pushing entertainers, especially ratchet entertainers, in our face, like we all would fall for that. But 92% of Black women did. And that's exactly what I mean. We don't have a sense of self outside of the superficial. Women of other races, their sense of self includes a husband. And I know I harp on that a lot because that is what's lacking within our community. And that is what is one reason why we can't move forward as a collective whole in our community. Because family has to be the base of everything. Mom, dad, children. But in a Black community, you have Black women saying things like, sometimes a family is just a mom and her children. Tell me what other races of women are saying that. And obviously, in today's society, you do have more women of other races starting to say foolish things like that. How about y'all ask y'all's children if they want their dad in their lives? And don't poison their minds against their dad, too. So I was going to say, you know, like a lot of Black women, they focus on the superficial. Oh, they loved Harris's style, her sense of style. You know, she was looking snazzy in her suits and her high heels. And, you know, but what does a sense of style have to do with running the country? And like where she went to school, you know, because Black women like to put a lot of emphasis on education, while other groups of women are getting their educations and their husbands, their Mrs. degrees. Black women keep on just encapsulating, I don't know if that's the word I wanted to use, education. I'm fabulous. I'm a boss. I don't need a man. And all of this ties together because the Democrats, I'm not going to go deep into that, but they are largely the reason why the Black family unit has broken down. The Welfare Act, Lyndon Baines Johnson in the 60s. You know, you can get this welfare money, but you can't have a husband in the house. Allegedly, they didn't say that to the white women, who are more likely, and this is one of the arguments that a lot of Black people like to say, there are more white people on welfare than Black people, but there are more white people here in America. When you break it down by percentage, it's still overwhelmingly, alarmingly Black people. And harping on dead horse, no fathers in a home equals poverty. I don't care how many of these women get online with their single mothers and I have an education. I take care of mine. My children are well taken care of. But you marry a man and then have your children. Pay attention, ladies, young ladies, I'm talking to you, because y'all keep on letting these women who promote single motherhood and stuff like that take y'all down the same path as them. Pay attention to the Black women who got married, then had their children, and look at them, how their lives work with the husband versus that single mother baby mama who never got married and she has several baby daddies. Pay attention to that. And again, the Democratic Party does not support the nuclear family. And I've already been there. Okay, and I said that. Sorry for having to refer to my notes. And here's what's next. The media is largely liberal. They get to bogart the narrative that Republicans are racist, uneducated, and misinformed. One of the ironies that I find with Democratic supporters, is they'll say that conservatives live in a bubble, that we only listen to what other conservatives say, something like that, when that's simply not true. Like I had to tell somebody, in order for me to know that I'm not a Democrat or support Democratic policies, I have to hear what they say. And that coworker that I told you about, who his whole energy shifted when he found out that I voted for Trump. But it should never have been an assumption that I voted for Harris. Don't make assumptions about who people vote for. But he told me out of his own mouth, I only listen to the Democratic side of things, because I was trying to tell him the conservative podcast that I listen to. And I'm telling you, he just glassed over. His eyes just glassed over. He wasn't interested in knowing what the Black conservatives say. Not interested. And I tried to tell him, I said, I listen to the Black conservatives, I listen to the Black Democrats, and I listen to the Black independents. That's how I was able to make a decision on who to vote for. I wasn't voting for Harris anyway. The illegal migrant, she put emphasis on them. And then when I watched her at a rally talking about deletion of babies, you had these two college students shout out, Christ is Lord or Christ is King. And what did she say to them? What did she say? Oh, you're at the wrong rally. But then Trump came after that soon after and said, Christ is King. Now, I don't know his heart. I don't know her heart. But again, I have my very strong reasons not to support Democrats. And again, I'm not going to go into it because I know Black Democrats in particular don't care. They literally don't care your reasons for not voting Democrat. They just care that you look like me. You're supposed to be voting Democrat. Don't you know? You're not supposed to have a mind of your own. And then they'll flip it around and say, because we support Trump or we support conservative values, oh, y'all the ones that's, thank you, Joe Jett, liberal cult. Exactly. They say that we're in a cult. And correct me if I'm wrong, we as conservatives, we can take or leave Trump and conservatism. We would sit it out. We would literally sit it out. What is it? Some of those independents that I listen to, Philip Scott, Dr. Umar, they would say either Trump or the couch. Neither one of them were for Trump. I don't want to put words in their mouths, but they weren't for Harris either. They said it's either Trump or the couch. But let me just shout out the people that I listen to, just in case I forget to put it in the description box. For my conservative point of view, I listen to Black conservative perspective. The Officer Tatum. Yeah, I'm gonna, because I have it already written down so I could just cut and paste it. So, okay, so for the Democratic side, you have Roland Martin. Yes, I listen to Roland Martin. You know, you have to listen to the other side to understand what works and what doesn't work for you. Roland Martin, and then there's this Dr. Richey. He's always doing like the racist stuff when something racist happens to Black people, and he, you know, chimes in on it or whatnot. And the independents, I say, would be the Philip Scotts, the Dr. Umars, Crimson Cure. Oh, and for the conservative side, Pink Book Lessons, Dee Dee. So, and sorry if I listen to a lot of people. And O'Shea Duke Jackson, he's one of my favorites. He might be a Trump supporter. But sorry, O'Shea, if you happen to see this and I called you out wrong, but I do watch your content. And so today, literally just today, November 9th, 2024, you have articles all over the place talking about why Black men did not support Harris. So this Black woman said, Black men voted for Trump because they have a hatred for Black women. And that comment got over 800 likes. And I be trying to warn you, young Black ladies, to stop listening to these Black women who say Black men hate Black women, because it's simply not true. And as I've told you in another video, you have to pay attention to the women who are telling you that Black men don't like Black women. Pay attention to where they are in their lives. And that would give you the answer as to why they said that. And by the way, 78% of Black men voted for Harris. 78%, almost 80%. So what you're saying is, what is that? Leaves over 22% of Black men voted for Trump. They probably don't want you anyway. Why are you mad at 22% when you have a whole 78% of Black men who voted for Harris right along with you? And Black women voted 92% for Harris. Why y'all mad when y'all are the majority? Why are you mad? You're the majority. So that 22% of Black men, they're probably upwardly immobile, living their lives to the best of their, well, you know what I'm trying to say, to the best of their fullest. I think that's what I wanted to say. And speaking of these 78% Black men, look at those wusses that came out en masse clowning and shaming Black men for not wanting to support Harris. Van Johnson, D.L. Hughley, Ricky Smiley, Steve Harvey. All of those, I'm trying to be nice. Those are men who are by and large simps, what other Black men will call simps. They are under the matriarchy. Those are those weak men, and some of them white ones are too. Speaking of which, there is this white man on my job, it's an older man in his 70s. And when I don't work with him now, but I still see him in passing. And when I worked with him, we used to talk about politics. And so this was months ago. And he told me, so I told him, I said, well, I tend to lean conservative, Republican or whatever. And you should have saw the look on his face. And he said, this was the white man, older white man. He goes, but Republicans are racist, as if to say, you're Black. They're racist. And you know what I said to him? So are Democrats. And you should have saw the look on his face like, you're not supposed to know that. We know that Democrats are racist too. The 78% of Black men and 92% of Black women obviously don't know. But one thing I can tell you, we Republicans, black Republicans, we know that the white Republicans are racist. But what is it that a lot of these content creators say? You vote policies, not feelings. Because if you're going to be voting feelings, the Democrats are forever going to have you scared. Ooh, Mads are going to get me. I can't get off the plantation. The Democrats, they're our friends. They care about us. The Republicans are the ones that are racist. And as I've told y'all in another video, y'all let one set of racists tell you what another set of racists who are others. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. I rarely talk this much on online or whatever. But you don't have to take my word for it. Listen to what Malcolm X said about liberals and Republicans. It's from the 60s. And what he said about white liberals is still true till today. Still very true. They come at you with a charming smile. Hi, you're black and I don't respect you. I have very low expectations of you. You don't know how to think for yourself. So I must think for you. You ever know how racist that is? That's why they're so mad at black people deciding to go Trump. How dare you think for yourself? How dare you know to listen to both sides and then make your decision? I even had this white man tell me, this was a video that I did a remix on a video. This was months ago. And he basically did that white liberal thing, but you're black. How can you vote for people that want to keep you down? And I don't remember everything that I said for him, but white liberals, they love to get into our mix and tell us how we're supposed to feel. How about I know what to think for myself? I'm a woman in my 50s. And I wanted to mention this earlier about Obama. He got me too. I used to be like the first black president. He's got a black wife and two beautiful black daughters. Oh my goodness. I was sucked in too. But you have to sometimes separate your feelings from fact. What did Obama bring in heavily? He was in heavy support of the LGBTQ community. And we all know why. We heard about that letter. Don't know if it's true. It's alleged. It's alleged. But just because somebody look like you doesn't mean that they're for you. Look at what Brandon Johnson is doing in Chicago. He brought all of those illegal migrants in over to the people of his community, people that look like him. Y'all know the Democrats gave those migrants, illegal migrants, millions upon millions of dollars, and then turned around and say, we must study to see if we need to give you reparations. Even though I don't agree with the reparations. I'll take it if they want to give it, and I've given my reasons. But people from another country who have not put money into our country can get millions of dollars. But we have to do a study to see if we can give you Negroes millions of dollars. But that's another topic. So, and I've already, okay, so I do want to chime in on that. And see, and I wish at some point I'm going to learn how to add images and sound effects and stuff. So if you follow my channel, you know that this is very brand new for me. And for those who have chimed in and watching, thank you so much. And thank you again for Joe Jett. And so I saw this meme online the other day. It was like a slummy area. It had when Republicans are in charge, when Democrats are in charge, when independents are in charge. It was still a slum across the board. Doesn't matter who's in office. And this is why I try to tell young Black women, and of course, Black men who are listening, In order for our communities to thrive, family has to come back, the nuclear family. Because other cultures, their standard is the nuclear family. The reason why our community can crumble and fall so easily, because we keep listening, by we, I don't mean me, listening to the Democratic side, who, as I said earlier, they promote deletion of babies. And I read or heard that Black women are 5 times more likely to delete babies. They don't promote the nuclear family, which again will affect our community. They also promote the feminist ideology, which also affects our community, because the Black community is a matriarchal community, while a lot of the other cultures is a patriarchy community. And those women put themselves in positions to be protected by the men in their communities. Black women fight it, and I've done those type of videos multiple times. But I do feel like it ties into the Democratic Party because they promote alternative everything. And that's why they're scared for Trump to be in office. And if y'all know, Trump was the Hollywood darling at one point. Trump was with all of those Democrats. He was with all of them. But it wasn't until he decided to run for president and switch to being conservative policies, that's when all of the hate and he's racist all came out. And yes, I'm well aware of the Central Five, but follow some of the other channels, because I think the Officer Tatum, he's Black, he was a former police officer. I think he did a very deep dive into that. So, and if you want, and maybe Philip Scott might have also spoken about it, did a deep dive. So I at least would try to direct you to the people who I feel can give you the information that you might seek. I can only give you surface level opinions. So I wanted to talk about where the Dems went wrong, in my opinion. First of all, they inadvertently made Trump an underdog. Every time you turned on the TV, Trump is this, he's evil, he's dangerous, he's blah, 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 blah. I mean, everything negative that they could throw at him. And if you are what they call a swing voter, and you don't know whether to go to the Republican or the Democrats, they're looking at that, seeing all of the mud being slung on that man, and he still continued to stand. And what that did was that made people maybe do a deep dive on their own. You know what? They're coming at him awfully hard. I need to look into that. And if you've ever been in a situation at work, especially if you're a woman, you might understand. It just takes one woman at work to not like you. Next thing you know, all of her boom quisha friends are all up in your face trying to get something started with you. So if you've ever been in a situation where people came at you unprovoked, and I'm not saying that Trump didn't provoke people, but I can say about Trump, he gives what he gets. So if you're going to say something slick mouth to him, he's going to give it right back to you. Wouldn't you? Yes, you would. So quit playing. Stop playing with me. So the Democrats also, they focus too much on race and deletion of babies. Like I said, they are the party of death. They worship at the altar of deleted babies. They did too much on the race thing. Black people are getting tired. Well, apparently not, because 92% of Black women voted for Harris. 78% of Black men voted for Harris. So the ones of us who did not, we're getting sick and tired of the Democrats pushing this victimology narrative down our throats. And take it from somebody who's been called the N-word. And I'm not talking with the A at the end either. I'm talking about with that hard ER. Yes, I have been called the N word. I have dealt with racism. But dwelling in that does not help you move forward. And see, if Democrats want to, well, see, I wish more Black people would open their eyes to the tricks of Democrats. Because again, like I said earlier, they're very good at spinning the narrative that we're victims, that we don't know how to think for ourselves. And that's a no-go for me. That is a no-go. And I don't understand why other people can't pick up on that and say, no, I ain't no victim. I can go out there and work just as hard as anybody else and get the life that I deserve because I worked for it. You want something out of life, you got to work for it. Doesn't mean hard times doesn't happen. If I wanted to get personal, which I'm not, I've been through some things in my life. I have been through some things in my life, but I didn't stay there. And thankfully, I was able to open my eyes on a lot of things. You grow. That's what life is. You grow. You don't remain stagnant and just stay there. And you certainly don't let people who don't have your best interests in heart tell you how you're supposed to feel. Those Democrats be telling Black people how we're supposed to feel. Not on my watch. You could tell them other Black people how to feel, but you're not about to tell me how I'm supposed to feel. So also the Democrats, they heavily pushed the illegal migrants. And then Harris acted like, I don't know how that happened. She was pro illegal migrants. She ain't pro Black people. And you have Black people right now, in these comment sections about Trump. Yeah, those sellouts, they about to find out quick, fast, and in a hurry, voting for Trump. You think he your friend? The liberal media pushed all of that foolishness. And again, we know he don't like us any more than Biden or Harris likes us. So again, you vote for your values and policies. Now, obviously, if you are pro alternative lifestyles, if you're pro deletion of babies, if you're pro anti-nuclear family, of course, vote for the Democrats. But don't tell me who I'm supposed to vote for. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm giving you my reasons as to why I voted the way I voted. Oh, and Christianity. I also told my coworker, I'm a Christian before I'm anything. Democrats are anti-Christian. Whether you believe it or not, they are anti-Christian. And I can't get behind that. And I don't understand. I told this lady online the other day, I said, I don't know how you could be Black and Christian and vote for Democrat policies, the things that they stand for. I don't get it. But I'm not about to call you out of your name. I'm not about to call you crazy and stupid. But I can't say the same. I've literally been attacked verbally for being a Black conservative. That's why I posted that trailer. If you saw the trailer of that woman in the car, which I'm glad I just remembered that. Y'all saw how she reacted? So whether she believes it or not, she is a Black woman representing Black women. So because an alleged Black woman, Harris, lost, that's how you get in your car and react? No, you get in the car, you know what, I'm disappointed that she lost. You know what, maybe next time, she can maybe approach the Black community this way and that way, and maybe she can get more, and maybe they can get more votes. No, but she got in the car and screamed like a banshee. It was very immature and ratchet, and it looked crazy. And then you saw the Black man, he had a Trump shirt on and went to his family, and he was the one that was assaulted. Y'all see the lady throw the mustard against his face? Thank you, Joe Jett. I saw that. She shouldn't have done that. What a bad look. It looked very bad. But it's a lot of people, as the saying goes, because I'm picking up new jargon online, crashing out. Am I crashing out? I'm not crashing out. I'm just giving an opinion. If Harris had run, I would still be talking like this. And something else that I wanted to say, a lot of times the Democrats accuse Republicans of the very things that they do. But I'm actually more scared to tell a Democrat that I'm a Republican than a Democrat is telling a Republican that they're Democrat. And there have been videos online of Black people who have gone to Trump rallies, and they said, I was surprised. I expected this, and this to happen, but they welcomed me. Now, obviously, you have that one footage of this Black man getting his butt beat by some white men at a alleged Trump rally. I don't know the story behind that, but I'm already aware of that. And I do want the story behind that because, again, the liberal media, they take things and they twist it around for their narrative. And that's what keeps people riled up. And speaking of the LGBTQ community, this is also what the Democrats support. Do y'all know that there's this trans woman, and I saw the video, who said she wants to have a uterus implanted so she can use IVF to get pregnant and then delete the baby. There are actual biological born women who can't have children. But this person wants to mock women by having something that's not designed to be in their body, to be implanted in their body, so they can delete one of God's greatest gifts. That's what the Democrat Party supports. And I can't get behind that, among other things. I'm going to be winding down soon, y'all. So I just heard today, it might have been yesterday, you have some colleges offering emotional support for their students. And again, from Joe Jett. Yep, these people are sacrificing babies. They are. They really are. And they're proud about it, which is terrifying to me. I can't even imagine doing something like that. And they say those babies can feel the pain. They're being sucked apart. And they can feel that. But I don't want to go into that. I know I brought it up, but that's what the Democrats support. And again, I can't get behind that. And like I've said, when you try to tell Black people who are ready to take your head off for not supporting the Democrats, they don't care. You're Black. You're supposed to be a Democrat. Point blank, period. You're not supposed to have thought of your own. So some college campuses are offering support for students after the Trump win. Are y'all serious? This is why today's society is so soft and easily offended now. You talking to a Gen Xer here. We went through some foolishness when we were young. And you either fought it out, even though I've never been in a physical fight in my life. You fought it out. You went back at the person. Nowadays, first little offense, people ready to either delete themselves or they're ready to delete somebody else. Because we're too sensitive nowadays. And I say this as a sensitive person. I'm really a sensitive person. But I'm not sensitive to the point of I need an emotional support puppy because Harris lost. That's some craziness. I'm sorry, it's crazy. But the liberal media have these kids in a tizzy. And you know what? We were right there. Okay, so they're not setting these young people up to be strong and resilient. When I was growing up, we were raised on, if everybody jumped in the lake, you're gonna jump in the lake too, or jump off a bridge. Life isn't fair. You fall, you get back up. That's how I was raised. Kids are too sensitive and crying over the most silliest things nowadays because they're not getting their way. And then finally, y'all, I'm going to wrap it up, but I just saw this either yesterday or today. Because of what happened with this election, Trump winning, Trump went on the Joe Rogan show. And I used to watch Joe Rogan when he did Fear Factor. That used to be my show. I couldn't watch it while I was eating because they would grind up crickets and stuff and then drink it. Ooh, I couldn't do it. So if you're familiar with Joe Rogan, I believe at one point he was an anti-Trumper. But with all of this going on, when people start to like pay attention and start thinking for themselves and not thinking, excuse me, what the liberal media tells them, because the liberal media reigns supreme. You're mostly only getting their side of the story. So it's a lot of stuff that went on behind the scenes with Trump, with Biden and his son, that the mainstream media did not let people know. And everybody knows you don't just take one side of the story. But going back to Joe Rogan, and then I'm going to wrap it up. So the Democrat liberal side, they want their own version of Joe Rogan, but for the people on their side. And they are completely missing the point. Joe Rogan having Donald Trump on his platform showed Trump as a human. He was able to sit down and speak calmly to the masses. And if you remember when Trump went to that black journalist, I forgot what it was called, the NAJ or something like that. Y'all remember how disrespectful those women were to Trump? And then the media played it like Trump was rude and nasty to them, when it was the other way around. Trump was just giving back what he was given. Now, Joe Rogan, he asked the proper questions of Trump, but the Democratic side, they're not going to be able to replicate that. They can replicate it, but the conservative men that I think that they want to try to reach, they're not going to reach them, because Democrats don't know what a man or a woman is. They really don't. And did y'all see that video or the commercial where those men were saying, I'll eat a carburetor for breakfast. I'll bench press 300 and then I'll braid my daughter's hair. Those were some of the most sissified, weak men. It was actually cringeworthy. And I've discussed it before. It seems like most definitely a feminist wrote that. Didn't no real man wrote that commercial. So for the Democratic side to have their version of the Joe Rogan, it's not going to appeal to heterosexual, masculine, conservative men. It's not. It really isn't. Because their version of manhood is a man who can be ball busted by a woman. They're going to use a Dylan Mulvaney, something like that. That's going to be their version to get men who would follow something like that. And see, again, conservative, masculine men are not falling for that. And that's another reason why I feel Harris lost. Picking at Tim Walz. He wanted to put tampons in a boy's bathroom. What real man is voting for something like that? So if you made it this far, I appreciate you. Make sure you like. I should have said that at the beginning. And I want to thank Joe Jett again for stopping by. I appreciate you. I appreciate the ones of you who chimed in, who watched, and I will talk to you later. Bye.